Welcome back to AI War 2. Going to wrap up some loose ends on the Zenith Onslaught expansion. That's coming out tomorrow. But there are some features that I haven't had a chance to get to, didn't really fit in the other videos. So let's take a look at some of that. This is the cubular map, and there's a couple new map types. This one is similar to the spiral snake. If you're familiar with that, you can see the pattern here. But there's pairs of different planets here, and it doesn't have to be pairs. They can be thicker. You can change the connections here, which can result in some pretty strange things going on and maybe connecting to different parts of the spiral. Or if we switch that back, one of the options that I like on this is the varied option. And there you can see some parts are 4 thick, some parts are 2 thick. So you have the spiral shape and the choke points, but not everywhere. Like some parts, like in here, be much more difficult to cut off the enemy in. And then the other type of map that is coming with the expansion is the compass here, which is sort of in a similar vein. This is the concentric map with more options, because you've got circles inside of circles, but this cluster in the middle, we can change the size that is, and then we can change the number of rings if we like, or maybe we want to have more connections or less. We can make that happen. So lots of different varieties to happen there as well. On the Outguard front, there are a total of 11 new ones. Some of them work pretty familiarly to what we've seen in the other Outguards that are in the game. They deploy some units to help you on the planet. They'll fight conventional combat. Some work a lot differently, though. The prices can vary now, and that has led to some real creativity. For example, the Zenith Trader one that you can just call in for 5 AI progress, so it's cheaper. You just get the trader, but you don't have to wait for it to wander by your system. You can just call one in whenever you want it. The Monarch, on the other end of things, is very expensive. 50 AI progress. So why would you ever pay that much AI progress for an Outguard? Well, it gives you a low-rent hive golem, so it's very, very powerful. Much more powerful than a normal Outguard. Then there's the Hyperion, which gives you a Citadel, and so on. Well, in this case, we're going to take a look at a couple of others here. Ragnar's Breacher and the Trojan Horse. And these are both ones that you want to call in an enemy territory. But the Trojan Horse, we'll throw it here in Gerado. And what this does is it will spawn this Trojan Horse, which is actually a camouflaged astro train with some cargo containers. And these will release drones on death, which is going to take 5 minutes. And during that 5 minutes, it gives you scouting on this planet and any planet that surrounds it. So you can see we can actually scout planets. You can use it for vision in an area that you already know if you really want to keep an eye on what's going on there. It's difficult for you to reach. Of course, spies will work well for that area as well. But this is good if you want to sort of set up a distraction ahead of time with the drones it's going to release. It's obviously good in this case, though, just extend your range without actually having to capture any more planets. So in 5 minutes, that will do its thing. Let's take a look in the meantime at what can happen with, let's see, where do we want to go? Let's just throw it down here in mana. Ragnar's Breachers. And where are they coming in at? Okay, so we get Blitzkrieg and makeshift turrets here. And they always form on the edge. It feels weird to have these on the edge, but of course the key thing, what you're getting here is a liberal helping of drones to distract them. And since we're not helping them at all, this doesn't look like it's actually doing that much. They're getting focused in on, and pretty soon they're going to be gone. But as a distraction, especially if you level them up, they're pretty interesting. And they're a fairly normal priced Outguard, so it's not like you're paying a ton for them. But drone spewing turrets on the edge of the system. So let's see what we have going down here in Gerado. We'll probably have some, yeah, we've got a bunch more time to wait on this. And now we're getting pretty close to the end, just waiting for them to have their health go down the rest of the way. There we go. And then all of these hoplite drones come out. And we can actually control these to an extent and decide what they're going to attack. But the thing about it is, they're not going to last that long. And here they're actually got zombified. So, of course, this is just a demonstration. It actually would not be that particularly wise of a place to go there. But I think for operating in enemy territory, the Trojan horse is a really unique and interesting way to explore it. And of course, many other Outguards available as well. We've got a wave coming in here, which would be an opportune time to look at just a couple new things. And again, I'm only scratching the surface here. But there are some new ships, and there are some new lines you can get from the ODSS. Here's one. You can see all these drones going out. These are bomber drone hangars that I hacked in ODSS to get. There are several different varieties of those you can get. There's new mines. There are ambush posts, which basically look like metal harvesters. What they actually do is spawn drones to ambush the enemy when it gets particularly close. I haven't found a particularly good way to use those yet, but I haven't had a chance to experiment too much with them. And let's see if we can find some of them here. We've got a bunch of extra tractor beams going on around here. We have mine layer frigates. And what they're doing is they're putting out these drones that tractor the enemy in place wherever they go. So you can see the anchor minefield here, javelin anchors here. I really, really like the mine layer frigates. Big fan of those from what I've seen. And we're now winning and repairing and all of that. But there's also some new guardians on the AI side. They have a polarizer guardian, they've got a lightning guardian, and there's one other that's, the retribution guardian. That's the one. There are some new ships. The Dark Mirror is one to watch out for. There's a handful of new guardians, handful of new ships, quite a few new items in the ODSS. That's where a big emphasis is going. But the Dark Mirror has the attraction field and the reflection of damage, as we discussed before. But the thing that makes them special, especially the drones, I would say, there's a drone and there's a frigate version of it. But the drones, you don't have that many hit points, but they reflect a lot of damage. So what can happen is you'll come in with a ship with really big weapons, like say a Lost Spire frigate or an artillery golem, and you hit one of these things. Well, the amount of damage it will absorb to kill it is not that much, but it reflects based on, I think, the shot value. So you can basically end up having a situation where you will take a lot more damage than you inflict. And so attacking Dark Mirrors with the wrong type of ships, in other words, not attacking with a bunch of small ones, but attacking with a bunch of big ones with big weapons, can be extremely hazardous to your health and kill your large, big, powerful ships very, very quickly. So that's sort of an interesting aspect that's happening. Diving in here to a system with one of the chain lightning eyes so we can see all of that going on. But this is going to wrap up my series of the overview of the Zenith Onslaught expansion. I'm going to be doing a proper run through of a full game with a lot of this stuff activated. But I hope this was useful to you in sort of giving you the big picture view of what's going on with the Zenith Onslaught. And I think it's going to be an exciting expansion that's definitely going to change a lot of things up as we get more and more familiar with it and it gets more settled. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully see you soon.